Hello. Hey, Pooch. Hi. Oh, look at this. Oh, little. Oh, so sleepy. Hello, everybody. It's Anna from Astrology Tarot. Welcome back. Today I am doing a Tarot Tube Pet Peeves video. I asked you on Instagram what your Tarot Tube pet peeves are, and you sent me some good ones. So I'm going to read them out loud and let me know what you think. Now, this video is all good fun for me. Don't take it too seriously, I mean, but also tell me, or rather tell us, if you agree. So in this video, I am sharing what your answers were, but I will also add in my own Tarot Tube pet peeves. And these are things that are just slight annoyances, but also they're kind of funny. And I also definitely do most of these. So I would love it if you would let me know what you think about this, if this also annoys you, and if there are other Tarot Tube pet peeves that you can name. Just like the cliche tarot reader tag that I did earlier this year, this video is, again, not to be taken too seriously. These are things that we all come across online, mostly. Some of them, as I said, I do myself. It's almost inevitable. I think we had a tarot pet peeves a while back, right? About what we don't like about decks. Well, I am talking about the overall Tarot Tube pet peeves. I think it just fits. It's kind of like part 2 from the cliche tarot reader tag. Also, I want to know who came up with the term Tarot Tube because it has a nice ring to it and I really like to use that term. So if you know who that is, again, let me know. Let's start with your answers to the question, what are your Tarot Tube pet peeves? Most of you answered a bunch of times, which I like because it can't just be one. So here's the first one. When tarot tubers say they'll teach you everything you need to know in an hour. Oh, yes. When tarot tubers say they'll teach you everything you need to know in an hour, it's just not true. It's just not true. It's not possible to know everything in an hour regarding tarot cards. You cannot learn how to read tarot cards in an hour. I remembered Lisa or Esther, I don't know now, Mindful Tarot did one of those videos, but she took it seriously and I liked that video. It was definitely the disclaimer of, so okay, my video is named, I'll teach you the tarot in an hour, but it's just kind of like the groundwork. And even in there are many different methods and ways to learn how to read the cards. So that was just one of the 10,000 methods to start. I think this is an annoyance that I don't think this side of Tarot Tube really deals with a lot. I think it's really the side of the quick, easy answers, don't think about it. The side of YouTube that I was talking about earlier this year in the video where I discussed this your ex will come back thing. If you haven't seen that video of mine, please go ahead and watch it. Let me know how you feel about these types of readings. Because to me, and I think everyone watching this video will agree, tarot is a very deep, psychological, but also magical, transformational, spiritual, the list keeps going, but you know, important and fun, but also to be taken seriously tool in life. It's not comparable to reading your 3 lines of horoscope in the daily paper. It's really actually intrinsic, important, and that is why degrading it really to being able to teach that or learn that in just 1 hour. Okay, second one. Not seeing the tarot tuber's face Interesting. I kind of get that. I also do videos and readings where the querents don't see my face in the screen because I like to focus in on the cards and like to, really show them what I'm talking about. Because doing both is quite difficult, actually. There's already a lot to think about, when doing readings through video. But I guess I see also the value in seeing the reader's facial expressions because it's a human interaction, and maybe without it, you feel a little bit less of that connection. When people say that you have to shuffle a certain way, yes, I have seen plenty of videos, tutorial on how to shuffle your cards and what is and isn't allowed, or what you should and shouldn't do, and what isn't respectful to the cards. I also, being a tarot reader online myself, get these questions, from people who are starting out. They want to know how I shuffle or how they should shuffle the cards, and I explain how I shuffle, what I think the best way to shuffle is, but that's all just practical advice, like shuffle with the images face down so that you don't see which card you pull. But I'm not going to tell you how many times you need to cut the deck. I don't cut the deck 3 times. I don't see the point. I just cut the deck once, and even that is in one smooth motion. Everyone has their own little traditions, and I think it should be personal, absolutely. So I'm not going to teach anyone how to shuffle their cards. Just do what feels right to you. And the only advice I do have is try to be consistent. Have maybe 1, 2, or 3 options, and you can choose one of those depending on how you feel that day. I do that. Sometimes I just shuffle the cards. Sometimes I fan them out if I'm feeling fancy. That's not always, I can tell you. Excuse my tired face. I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just seeing how extremely pale I am, and now red because I just rubbed my cheeks, but I just want to put this out there. Are the weekends getting shorter, or is it just me? You know what though, about the shuffling, it's one thing when viewers click on a video where someone is explaining how to shuffle the cards. It's another when someone else comments on your videos and says you're doing it wrong. Don't do that. Reviews with just music over them. I want to hear all the thoughts. Okay, interesting one. So you're talking about the flip throughs, right? I think when it comes to deck reviews, it's nice to have both, because some people get annoyed that the person making the video is talking too much and isn't doing a full flip through in the video, or just showing a few cards and talking about their thoughts and first impressions and all of that. And other people are interested in hearing those thoughts. I too prefer the thought videos, but to be honest, sometimes when I just quickly want to find out if I'm interested at all in the deck, I do click on the very quick video. People who explain how tarot works. It has many layers and is personal, period. See, now I am guilty of that because I participated in Chris's tag How Tarot Works, I think, and if it even matters how it works. And in there, I think I was mindful enough to add in this little disclaimer in which I explain this is just how I feel it works, and yes, it is important to me to know how it works so I can justify using the cards at all. I think I did say that this is not how anyone else needs to believe how the tarot works. That was really just my own research, truly. And I really did love that tag because it's just one of those questions that's about the tarot in depth, not just about decks or imagery or any of that, or cardstock. But again, there's a difference between explaining on your own channel how you think things work, and then also being very clear in saying that might not be the case for you, and that's fine, and commenting on someone else's video again or post and saying that they're doing it wrong. There is no right or wrong. Look, I understand that there are different traditions, but not everyone has that tradition, so let it go. Pick a card readings. Can't they just do live readings instead? LOL. I have done pick a card readings. Those were my monthly Dutch videos in 2019, I think. Time is moving so fast because we're not doing anything. I must say, I really did enjoy doing pick a card readings. Also, I did a video in English explaining why pick a card readings has its strength in itself. So can't they just do live readings instead? Yes, but it's just another vibe, isn't it? I don't know. I really like both. So it's fine if you don't enjoy pick a card readings, but the reasons why I figured pick a card can work is because you just make one video, doesn't have to be very long, and you read this message for more than one person. If it's just personal tarot readings, live personal tarot readings, which I also love to do, everyone watching is hearing this personal message that is meant for just one person. Whereas when you do pick a card readings, the first, second, or third card, all of those cards are going to be picked by more than one person. And so you kind of gain time, I guess. But I know what you mean. It's less personal. Definitely get that. But again, I feel that there's room for both of these options. Plus also just the one card reading that's for a collective. I do that on Patreon every month. It's the first tier. I can justify that because I know that it's not the whole world who is going to watch that video. So not everyone is going to have the same message. It's just a select group of people who gets this message and can take whatever they feel they need. Another format again. Then this person added, part 2, are they even shuffling the cards? I get that. In doing live readings or in doing pick a card readings, which I stopped doing by the way, because I just prefer to do other videos now. I always made sure, or always tried to make sure, because you kind of learn from your mistakes, right? Where to place the camera and all of that, to always shuffle in screen because I don't know what people think. If I shuffle off screen, people might think that I already have 3 cards ready that aren't in the deck that I'm shuffling and already have a pre-written reading for these cards. Whereas usually the pick a card readings or any type of live tarot reading, it really truly is about that moment interpreting the card right then and there, isn't it? So we're gonna need to see the deck being shuffled and then the card taken out of the deck and then turned around in the screen. Conspiracy theory. Are tarot readers who shuffle off screen really reading the cards live? People being scared to have their cards bend. Just use them. Play with it. Riffle shuffle fan. I get that. Personally, I don't mind my cards being used or looking worn. It feels like that's my deck. It's imbibed with my energy. It just means that I really love and appreciate that deck. As you may know by now, right now at least, I'm enjoying a smaller collection because that means that I can really dive deep with the decks that I have. So with that also comes, I'm going to use my decks and it's going to show on the cards. But the cards being bent in any way, I don't like. So what I do is I also read for myself a lot and then I shuffle in every direction. That's how the cards aren't always bent in the same way. Like if you get a banana deck, you can just flip the banana and then you're left with pancake. I don't know. Maybe I'm hungry. What is this? To me, I'm realizing now kind of a preference in how a deck ages. I like to see an old deck with bent cards. Not so much. On your overall point, play with your deck, just use your cards. Absolutely agree. The obsession with cardstock, and this one is actually from James, and I love that because he's my friend and he's calling me out because my god, I am a cardstock snob. I just am. I am disappointed when a deck has cardstock that I don't get along with. Too thin, too thick, not bendy enough, too flexible, too flimsy, rose petal, ugh, gloss, no. It has to be like everything just perfect and right there in the middle. Like the Rider-Waite-Smith Centennial, wonderful cardstock. Every Patrick Valenza deck, really good cardstock. Anything from Los Scarabeo, I actually hate. Sorry, this is turning into an unpopular opinion video as well, but most of the US Games things get a thumbs up from me. Yeah, obsession with cardstock. I understand why that can be a pet peeve because we're not talking about tarot itself, not even about the imagery, but I really do think tarot still is a tactile experience. We touch the cards and that also brings us in the tarot reading mood, I think. And so there is a place for it online as well, but I understand what you mean. We shouldn't obsess about it too much. Maybe just mention it if it's important to you at all, but complete videos about cardstock, maybe not. Oh no, when the tarot reader checks the small booklet in the reading, is that for real? I mean, I've seen it, but they were using oracle cards. The only added value, sorry. The only added value to people making videos in which they do a tarot reading, in which they check the little white book, is if the viewers don't own a deck themselves. Every creator reviewing the same deck. Yeah, that happens when a new deck comes out, and now 20 new decks come out every week. And especially when this deck is sent to creators for review, we basically get a full 2 weeks of all of our favorite creators reviewing the same deck. Must admit, I do like hearing different personal opinions about new decks coming out, if I'm interested in the deck. Hey, Pooch. Aww. General card meaning explain. I personally don't have a problem with that. I think it's nice to have videos like those for people who are learning tarot. At some point, I myself have deliberately stopped doing that. If I make a video about one specific card, I will always put my own spin on it and twist on it and then explain exactly, why I'm making that video, because it's not just going to be general card meaning. There's going to be a reason behind that. But that's just because I am trying to take tarot to the next level, like so many other people are trying to do. But, the general card meaning explained, yeah, I know. I personally don't get a lot of value out of that myself. Although, it's still just different views. I think I do check those videos sometimes. I prefer the weird deep dives, for sure. I want to know what you guys think. Some YouTubers who are huge but have no depth with tarot. Oof. The last one. When tarot readers get tired after multiple readings in a row and give you a half-ass reading. Well, I've never seen that myself, but all I can say is they're human beings with a limited amount of energy. But I think it's just one of those things as a professional tarot reader that you have to kind of learn about yourself. How much can you take? And if you do cross that boundary, because that obviously happens, because appointments are made, promises are made, like even in a live tarot readings, I'll get to your question in this video, you just want to get to that question, then it's important to be able to just push through to try to give everyone an equally good and helpful tarot reading. But it's all about balance, and everyone in any profession can have a bad day. But that is where we can always fall back on our technique, meaning our basic fundamental knowledge on the tarot. That is maybe when we revert back to general card meanings. You know what I mean? It's just like in dance. If you are having a bad day as a dancer or as a performer or even just in class, you stop trying to be the artistic snowflake fairy that you are and you revert back to your technique. Okay, it's time for my list of answers. I hope you are ready for that. But first, I need a break, so I will see you on the B-sides. I'm gonna flip the record. So the list I'm going through of only a few points are just very little slight annoyances that do make me laugh. And I want to put them out there to see if, first of all, anyone can relate. And maybe, as I said, you can add to this list in the comments or in a VR or both. This is absolutely not intended to sound irritated or anything like that, because I'm not. I don't think any of you commenting on Instagram were. I think it just could be fun to share some of these things with you, including my own. So this is kind of section 2 of this video. So let's get into it. My first tarot tube pet peeve isn't really tarot tube exclusive. It's just whenever people hear that I'm into tarot, they start talking to me about astrology. This happens in real life and online, and I get it, it's related, but it's not the same thing. Just because I'm into tarot doesn't mean I'm an astrologer. And I am getting more into astrology, but still, I don't see them as inseparable. I have tried reading an entire book about astrology, a really good one. I was halfway through. Up to that point, it was interesting because it was just about the tarot, implementing a little bit of the tree of life and astrology. The second half of the book was just about astrology, and I just couldn't get through it. But I don't even have to explain this because I'm not making excuses. There are plenty of amazing tarot readers who don't use astrology in their readings. And that's not how I read anyway. I'm not going to try to figure you out or focus on third-party readings. I do think that it gives a different flavor to a tarot reading, adding in astrology. Basically, up to this point, astrology, interesting, but the only person who has convinced me that astrology is something that I want to get into more, that person is Graham Hancock, because he has all of these great in-depth speeches and books on these ancient megalithic structures that were actually all clearly built to observe the stars and the sky and all of that. I'll definitely get into that. I guess it's just one of those misconceptions about tarot readers. I think astrology is somehow more difficult to explain, that I don't really go there all that much in comparison to the other misconceptions. The misunderstanding that the biggest part of my practice is to predict the future, or that I believe that I'm a psychic of some sorts. Yeah, any of that. Are you annoyed yet? Related to that point, the question that we all get all the time: what's your sign and ascendant and fourth house Venus rising thingy? I don't know. I keep forgetting. It's it's sweet. I get it. But half the time I don't remember and I have to look it up, and maybe I'm not in the mood in looking that up. I have looked it up, kind of made sense. At some point I will have my astrological chart reading, but still I'm not sure if it'll change my relationship to tarot all that much. I guess we'll see. Also, I think it's because it's such a trend that I'm just cringing sometimes a little bit, because it's so normalized now, almost, not in the people that I hang out with too much, but every regular old person that you can meet on the streets has the potential to describe themselves in astrological signs. And I'm just there like, and I'm a freaking tarot reader. There is just that little thing, a pet peeve, that doesn't sit well with me. I know that having your chart read and figured out can help you on a personal level, seeing, where you might need to grow a little bit more. I think that's how it works. But I don't like the fact that it's so often used to describe yourself, or just explain that's how my personality is. I cannot help but to be a narcissist or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, what? Enough about that. But my other pet peeve is another astrology phenomenon: Mercury retrograde. People, stop it already. Okay, I know I'm bad. I don't know enough about this to hate on it. It's just one of those things that we see all the time. The first time that I saw everyone online freaking out over Mercury retrograde, I thought, wow, this is a really big deal. This must happen just once a year, right? But no, it happens every other month or something. Way to keep the drama going, Mercury. Thanks a lot. The misspelling of Pamela Colman Smith's name. Not just that, but just the whole Pamela Colman Smith thing. I had this vintage deck, which is probably worth more than what I sold it for, because of this misspelling. Pamela Colman, there's no E in Colman. It's just Colman. 6 letters. But then we often still see it written down like that, even in Pamela Colman Smith appreciation posts or videos. And I know spelling isn't everyone's favorite thing, and I get it, mistakes happen, obviously. I make mistakes all the time. But also there's just this thing around Pamela Colman Smith. She drew the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, one of the most popular decks in the world, and yet so many people still believe that she was a nobody. She didn't know anything about the occult. She didn't understand the drawings that she was making for Arthur Edward Waite and his deck. She died penniless and really didn't receive the appreciation that she deserves until the Centennial deck came along, I think. Everyone seems to know that Lady Frida Harris who made the Thoth deck images, knew a lot about the occult, yet Pamela Colman Smith is often described as a person who was just hired to draw this deck, which became the most popular tarot deck in the English-speaking world. Even though everyone knows that Pixie was a part of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, introduced by no other than W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats. She wasn't nobody, and don't ignore her influence. Also, I have to add, I think most people making videos now very much know that Pamela Colman Smith had this influence and was an important figure. It's just still sometimes on the back of decks or in books or in older videos, so I figured I'll just include it in the list. Next point, I may already have a little bit become guilty of this, or will be at a later time in my YouTube experience, but for me right now, it's a funny pet peeve about online deck reviews. How the entire first half of the video is about packaging. I no longer watch deck unboxings on a regular basis. It just doesn't interest me all that much unless it's a deck that I think I might work with. We have obsession with cardstock. That's one thing. That is the deck that you're actually working with. And then we have the obsession with the packaging. Where did that come from? Also, I know that Katie Flowers made a video, very funny, about these types of things. She made that a while ago, but I actually do remember that I made a note of this before I saw that video. Anyway, if you haven't seen it yet, I will also link that one below because it's hilarious. I think that's it. Thank you so much for letting me know what your tarot tube pet peeves are on Instagram. If there are any more, please comment them below. I will include a hashtag in case anyone wants to share their own. If you're brave enough to do that, it's hashtag tarot tube pet peeves. See if you recognize any of these or can add to the list in the comments or as a VR, or both, as I said. Don't leave yet, because if you've enjoyed this video, I will link another one that I think you will like as well. Let me know if you're a new subscriber so I can properly welcome you to this online space. Don't click the notification bell. That thing represents the beginning of the end. Thank you for liking this video. Equal amount of thanks for disliking this video. I will see you all next week.